Friends, a very warm welcome from Blue Pencil. I'm Antara. I'm editor of Blue Pencil. Today we have gathered here with an eclectic group of luminaries from the world of art and literature to talk about our latest publication, Letter to Myself by Piu Mahapatra. It's an unbound book, unconventional in a box, containing a stack of postcards, letters carrying memories, musings, slices of life, and emotions. Let me introduce our guests now. We have renowned artist MITHU Sen. She is a conceptual artist whose works examine how identity and myth intersect in her questioning of societal norms and categorisations in an unworld. She has exhibited and performed widely at museums, institutions, galleries, and biennales across the world. Sen was the first Indian artist to receive the Skoda Award for Best Indian Contemporary Art in 2010, succeeded by the Prudential Eye Award for Contemporary Asian Art in Drawing in 2015, and most recently, Performance Artist of the Year by India Today. MITHU Sen lives and works in New Delhi, India. And we have with us eminent art consultant, INDRANIL GARAI. INDRANIL is a cross-disciplinary artist whose concepts are designed to inspire channels of meaningful dialogue and seamless exchange of ideas between art and its major stakeholder, man. He is founder and principal associate, IGA, joint director, Pune Biennale Foundation, and core committee member of the Art Mandai, the annual event in Pune that aims to bring authentic and affordable art to the people in a space that is very public. Amitava Nag is an independent film critic based in Kolkata and editor of film magazine Silhouette. His most recent book on cinema is Murmurs, Silent Steals with Soumitra Chatterjee, a Blue Pencil publication. His writings on cinema include 16 Frames and Shriti Shottao Cinema, Satyajit Ray's Heroes and Heroines, and Beyond Opu, 20 favorite film roles of Soumitra Chatterjee from acclaimed publishing houses like Rupa and HarperCollins India. Amitava also writes poetry and short fiction. And finally, Piu Mahapatra, a painter, facilitator, and art consultant by profession, and author of Letter to Myself. Her articles on art education and awareness have been published in different contemporary art journals of India and Virginia for more than a decade. And she is a fantastic teacher as well. Thank you all for being with us this evening. Piu, I would like to start our ADDA with you. It's your book that has brought us all together here. Why this book? And why in this form? Tell us about it.
Thank you, Antara. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If I give an honest answer, let's start the evening with a very honest answer. That when I was writing these letters, I think, Antara, I never considered that this will be a book. I'm not sure whether when people who are professional writers, who are acclaimed writers, when they write, they at all have at the back of their mind this thing that this set of writing will be a book or not. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. But for me, it wasn't there. I never thought that it's going to end up to be a book. I'm more of a painter, and as a artist, I feel that like writing, like painting, we practice, we write. And then at the end of it, sometimes at the end of the journey, someone kindles this idea, this new thing comes in. Let's make it a book, let's make it an exhibition. So, first question I cannot answer. I don't know. But the second part I can at least try. I can attempt to. That why this book? Why this concept of this book? So for that, I will just read a little bit a part of this book if I can. Can I?
Sure, sure, sure.
So it's at the back actually. It's written dedicated to all the grandpas and grannies of Chanachu. Chanachu is my son, and many like him or her. Hold on, hang on, have to ride by because you mean so much to them and to us. So this speaks a lot about more or less why this book. And most of the book is more than the book, it's a very personal reason why it came in this particular format of a box, and within the box there is a set of postcards. I'll just make it short and brief. It was right 1 week after Dol, which is Holi, Dol Purnima. The fear of COVID kind of rooted in, and we all got inside the home, locked ourselves. The borders were all kind of locked. So I had to travel back, fly back to USA, where my family is there, my son, my husband is there, and as I flew over there, I realized that I'm leaving my parents here in my hometown. So it's not about right or wrong. It is what it was then. So when I went there, I started writing letters. Uh, one letter to my dad, one letter to all those people and faces whom I have to some extent forgotten. They came back, and they, thanks to Antora and even Amitava, suggested that why don't you put this article, publish it in Learning and Creativity, which is a website. So I have been writing those letters for almost a year, close to that. And then when this whole concept of making the book came in, I thought if it was a letter altogether, then let it be a box of letter within a box itself. So that's mostly the personal journey of this book. So
That's wonderful, wonderful. And I would really ask you to take this discussion forward because, yeah, please go on. Yes.
So yeah, so what we can do is that because it's more of an open ADDA session, we can keep on talking and making a conversation. It's not that we have to specifically talk on something, but I might like to know from MITHU, if I can start with you, that when you had this book for the first time in your hand, uh, what did you feel? What did you think? What was there? What is your first response to it?
I think I messaged you.
I know, but then we need to hear as well, huh?
Yeah. So, should I be formally thank you all for inviting me here and all those things?
You be
And if I can
yourself.
take this part, then I can talk more about what is inside me, like just like because so it's like
Let us have this
Be
as the agda which we intend to
yeah.
have.
yes. Be
Thank you, thank you.
yourself.
Because
Be
I'm
yourself.
already. So the letter, or should I say letter box, came to me. So it's always like a bonus when letter comes with the letter box, no? I just thought because I just thought like that she mentioned about the box, and well, it's exactly that feeling. I felt like when we are kid, we always had a letter box like at home, like a red, like a tin box kind of things, and every day after coming back from school, first thing we used to look at is like opening the letterbox if there is something. And there's no such letter for us. Like used to come letters from my mom. She was a poet, and my dad in working from MNC and all. And there is never a personal letter for us. Like we three kids were like, and I always desire where there is not a single letter for us, only as a almost like as a consolation, every personal letter to mom and dad, there is like love for these kids. That was all. So, and then slowly, when I was in like school or not even high school before, like fifth or sixth standard, I started getting into this teen friend thing, um, and got some friends from where I don't know. I found them and lost them as well. So the letter started coming as a big romantic, like a image, and like we all have. So anyway, so that apart from the childhood, and then we went to all in Shantiniketan, hostel life, where Baniti used to keep all of our letters. And
as well,
yeah,
with all due respect to Banidhi, huh?
Shadun and Anand Shadun, and then those
Yeah.
letters. It's a big thing, letters. I mean, and it will never be the same when we receive an email inbox or message or something. The desire is never be the same, and it's a generational thing. And I hope, and I really feel when this letter box came from Piu and Blue Pencil, and it came in my studio address, and I think I have a big table, and I opened the box, and like playing cards, they all kind of spread it all over the table. And I was just for a moment, I was shocked, thinking that, oh, they're not like kind of, that it's not a regular, book that bind. It's all single page. I said, oh my God, then I cannot again put it back because I couldn't find the page number there, which was a surprise and which was, I think, a bonus of playing back into that kind of memories when um, like wooden box, like maybe sandalwood box, you keep your old letters storage. So it is exactly that feeling, and I had no issue, and I don't know where it started, though it has a kind of introduction, forward note, and all these things. I think I read Amitava's page later to you, like in the middle, after maybe 40 pages or something, and then oh wow! So it was a surprise for me because I couldn't like shuffle back then. So that was an experience, and that very tactile feeling was amazing. Uh, and that black box, which I always love, and this what do you call? I don't know. We always don't have enough words, even if it's not our mother tongue, to express what we actually feel and the moment. It's not a past moment, but it is a moment which is very very now moment, because you also asked me about to talk about memory, and I have some words for that. So, because I don't have any memory, because memory is related with past, and I don't believe in that kind of things. There is nothing called past. Every memory is now thing. So it's like a now. But if I'm carrying something, well, how can it be a past? If it is always embodied in my body and my mind, so it cannot be past. So I don't go with this whole all these constructive vocabularies or linguistic, politics. I'm just saying like what I can create on my own dictionary or lexicon. I will say the memory is now. And another thing, last night when she called, she said like that. I asked her like, how is the book going? And of course, it's a very, like a wonderful response they're coming. I'm not only getting it from her, but from her friends, our common friends also. And then we are talking about a couple of our common friends. One is like our teacher, like Soumitra. And she said, Soumitra still not received it. I said, oh, then ask her not to spend money. I'll sell her my book as second hand to him.
Soumitra is right now listening probably. He said that he will be listening and joining.
Anyway, so the reason I'm mentioning it, because then we had like another 20 minutes laughter on that, how to sell second hand things, how I said like before it become a vintage antique, very very expensive thing, and you get it in a pawn shop later, you just I will just tell it to him with all due respect. So Piu, that avatar whose book was going to launch like after like a couple of hours, someone is making a joke saying that I'll sell that book as a second hand. So the guts, the bravery, and the power of, like something, like I don't know, I cannot again explain because I don't have those vocabularies, but I'm just explaining that how she is to me. And I think that second-hand thing I will not like.
Soumitra is not listening right now.
this whole look you as the complete like a child human, because the child Piu is so much into her life, unless sometimes maybe after midnight at 2 a.m. In her time, not my time. She's calling from her, from US and talking and making jokes and all. And I find there is always a little something which I couldn't explain, a little melancholic, not sadness, something that maybe she's missing. And very obviously, anybody can say, oh, she's not a living, she's not living here, she's an NRI, and, like all this missing home or something. I don't exactly know what she was missing, but this invisible missingness, I think she was into a journey to process her memory, which involves like, that the domains, 3 domains mainly, that encodings, the storage and retrieval. So she was actually gathering all those years, her missing particles, to give a form or to give a birth to this letter to myself. So wonderful feel that fantastic way you processed your memories or whatever, or you are carrying and this now thing. And when you came up and when I saw this book, I don't know, you are younger to me, but I had so much of emotional respect for you that through your sparkling eyes, when I started seeing all those characters, mostly based on, that Kolkata, I mean, how to describe them? I'm not really. I don't know, but I see that that quantum invisible side of human life, which we always project. That I see Piu dancing in a shopping mall in Kolkata. Okay, that unreal something like the madness, and she has, and I was in an awe, and also like very very proud that only an artist, not I shouldn't say only an artist. That categorization is bad politics. Only like you, only a child human can do these things. So that I think that is what that avatar view and about memory and the poetic. That the two very hardcore academic questions she asked me last night, saying this is the flowchart, MITHU, this is for you. And I said, Are, how can you send me a flowchart saying that these are my this subject to touch upon? So I'll definitely not touch all
I
those
was very scared. The next day it's going to come back to me. I knew that.
So like I will do, but I can talk about a little bit of this memory and poetic, that responses she asked me from as an artist. Well, like already Antara gave a big biodata, which I didn't realize that. So my first biodata in today's ground is I'm Piu's roommate, senior, and I hope I'm a friend of her and friend of all of you, because also like Indro is here, and I'm sure that a lot of our friends, Kalabhavan, friends, and like a lot of common friends are listening. And I'm happy to meet Antara here, and we had some email exchanges, and Amitava I knew about, and I'm honored to be in the same same Zoom grid. And Antara, very I mean, I must say, like a big congratulations to you, a little more than Piu, because in today's time as an artist, I think that the whole idea of experimenting with different form of art, one part is the artist book or buka, which you're taking, like an initiative, and it's just it's a lot for all of us. I know, because like we have a tradition, or like I think when she asked me to talk about illustration and art or something like related, because I'm an artist, of course, that is the most popular status of me today, nobody says like she's a cook or she's a wife or daughter. So it's like, okay, I'm an artist. I accept that because it helps. But I don't know how to evaluate her book in terms of the illustration she made, or she considers me that I was a poet. So I don't have that capacity. So I must confess that part, that I'll not be able to evaluate that. But I can only say, I think the writing, the poetry, and uh, illustration as a high form of art, expressing uh, your imagination, your dream into some kind of visual, is a very Bengali thing. Starting from maybe Bartala, or maybe, sorry, Obun Thakur, Guru Angla, and Khirur Khata, Nandalal, Sahajpat, Rabindranath, who is not there? Um, Manida, including, I remember when we were a student, I remember one of our senior, Manjuri Chakraborty's beautiful, kind of paintings with
The illustrations and
it's like
the
that
children
time
with
maybe,
the
that
they
time
stand
maybe it
out.
was not so much about book art or artist book form. It's the whole idea of traditional typical terminology was like not so popular. But I recognize even Shamik does some of them. Jogin does, like that kind of writing, and uh, our Amrita Sen, a fantastic artist plus book
And
artist.
she also plays with the format of the book
Yeah,
making
yeah.
and all.
That
So
is typical
definitely all
culture.
those artists are there. Yeah.
So that's
So
that. Yeah. So I'll
Mithuji,
not
the
give.
poet part, I will come to you. That part I will say. You don't have to say. I will come to that part and let others listen to me, whether you are a poet or not. That we will decide at the end of it. But I will just move on to Amitavo, and then slowly I will move on to Indro. So Amitavo, because you have read these stories when they were being actually published online, and then you got the book itself, the box. How did you perceive this particular book, the concept of the book, or the style of writing? If you can share your ideas and thoughts.
Uh, I have before I start, I have a poor connection, so just pardon me if there are glitches in between. Um, Now I have read when these stories or snippets used to come out every Saturday, right? Every Saturday, and so I used to follow them. Uh, so when this idea of this book came about, my one of my uh, curiosity was which ones will make it into the book, like whether all of them will come or there will be a selection process. So there was a selection process, and the reason why I asked you this question again, that when all the snippets, I will prefer to use the word snippet rather than stories or essays or uh, something else. So these snippets were all available in the internet. What is the need of having a book, the entire of it or a selection of it? And the answer is actually the format of the book. And in today's world, when we have this question of whether reading as a vocation is going down, or reading books is becoming not a very preferred choice for most of the people, I think these initiatives, which are non-traditional in the sense, is very important in the sense, as Mithudi said, that when she opened the book, she probably started with, I don't know which snippet, but I'm pretty much sure that when I opened my box, it was a different one. So the novelty of this entire project is that you can actually arrange the snippets according to your own wish. So that you cannot do in a traditional book. You can decide to reread from a different chapter, but you cannot actually arrange the sequence according to your own wish. So that is one big advantage of this sort of, and I think these type of things will actually make people think out of the box, out of the box, so that they can take some amount of pleasure in addressing and approaching this item at hand. So it is in that way very non-traditional. So I had one observation to make here. I found that there are a lot of blank pages as well. So there are some with illustrations only with blank on the other side. There are texts with blank on the opposite side, and there are other blanks. So what I felt, and that is just my observation without knowing much about the publishing thing, is that had these been matte instead of glossy, then the reader could also include his or her own text or his or her own illustrations. And that would have made this each box even more unique. In a book, if it is given, if you have a book and I have a book, both the books are same. But
Very
here, there is a chance of making my thing different from yours because there are blank pages. I don't know whether those were done purposefully or those were just by design. But nonetheless, that is how it has turned out to be. So I was just thinking, I just tried writing something on that, and it was not working the way I would have liked. So I was thinking that if it would have been a matte finish, I don't know, then probably this novelty in this book project would have been enhanced. So that is uh, what I felt when I saw this box arriving. As far as your writing is, I think the second part was the writing and stuff. So what I felt is there had been slight change in the way you have written over a period of time. Now, the person who is opening the box and reading it, for that person, it probably doesn't matter because at the end you are getting all the 21 snippets at hand. You don't know like which one was written when. But since I had the fortune or the misfortune of reading them, the misfortune simply because I know like this was written earlier and this was written later on, so I can try to trace. I found that there are certain changes, and there are few. This is a question to you. I think this is ADDA, so I think it can be both ways. So this is a question to you. Like there are few which are single pages. I had written there are I think 9 which were single pages, and there are 12 which were both pages, and there were 17 which were in first person, and there were 4 in third person. So my curiosity as an author is like what prompted you to move from a third person stance, a first person stance to a third person stance? So is it like you are going into more of a generic form of from a
First
very
of all,
specific source events which you wanted to depict?
that's a wonderful observation, isn't it? Like we usually read it, we don't go to the detail. Where and then as an author, also I get surprised. Oh, really? I had 17 of them in first person and all. But that's amazing, actually, information. So regarding the first person or the third person, I will be very honest. It was not a very conscious effort that I had it in my mind. But one thing I realized that when I started this journey of writing the letters, because it was started in USA and I was missing home, I was, as MITHU also said, that there was a melancholy and all. I was writing letters back at home. It was specific people, specific faces. It was a city. It was my village. My Jathaima came in. My dad came in. My mom and everybody else. But as the process of writing went on for almost a year, at the end of it, I found that I wanted to write something more open, something more abstract. So it became more monologue. It became short stories. It became one which I can wrap it up within one postcards. Uh, so the initial first major bulk of the writing is more about memory, me traveling back, connecting with people, connecting with my own personal experiences. They're more personal. But as I grew and I wrote, I I kind of moved ahead of it beyond maybe. So it's more of a bit abstract, uh, more of a letter to myself. So it justifies. It's more the title justifies when I say that it's letter to myself. They are more for myself than for others. So yes, that might be the closest answer I can think of. But this data are very important, where you said that so many of them are in first person and all. That's amazing.
I was just, if I just add one line, I was curious because see when you write so many in different weeks, so it may so happen, it may not, but it may so happen that when you are writing, say, the 15th, so you already know the previous 14 are follow some pattern, right? So whether that influenced you in writing the next, in the sense that when you know that okay, this is becoming a pattern, so let's follow it, or you thought that okay, I had enough of this, so let me try something different.
So, if I understood it right, your question is like, if I consciously try to bring in a change
Right.
after writing certain stories, uh, it was spontaneous. It was more than conscious, but I consciously understood that I'm writing differently. That part I was aware of. So, and I was conscious that I'm enjoying this style of writing and approach, where the letters were mostly uh, for someone, and slowly it became for myself. This particular realization I was aware of. Whether it was a planned one, no, it wasn't. It was very spontaneous. It just happened. So yes, that might be the closest answer I can give. But this is my question to. I will just move on to Indro, and then I will also because this is. Please feel free to ask each other and everyone. I mean, it's not that I'm conducting or anything. Uh, so for Indro, what do you think? Like, do you think that books are also a product? And when you see this, because I myself believe book is a product as well. So when you saw this particular quote product, what is your opinion? What will be your feedbacks? And how would you define a book to be unique? Because I've been hearing that this is unique and all. How do you define it? What do you think?
So first of all, thank you, Blue Pencil, and big hug to Piu, who's my classmate. And it's an absolute delight to sit here and have you, the published author, Piu Mahapatra.
So Amitava is my batchmate also. So there are two batchmates.
From where? No, Amitava is a batchmate from where?
So
School.
school.
Oh, acha. Oh, I was not aware of that. Okay, okay. Okay. That's good. So,
Don't be fooled by my white hair.
ah, I
No.
have no no, so so how I look at a book is I've read somewhere that a single book is years of experience put together. That makes a book. And when I hold a book in my hand, that is what I try to dig into. And, I was never no one else but you would know that I am not at all a good student. I was never a good student, and so I never had the habit of reading book until now that I've kind of trained myself to read. And so the training, what has happened is that I read about 4 5 books together. So I pick this up, read some bit, pick that up, read some bit, and from anywhere that I like. So that has become kind of a habit, and because of my schedule, I travel, so I carry some book with me. I'm getting some time, so I read a bit. Now, with all that understanding, I feel Piu's book fits in very well with me. I can take out one leaf, read that, put it back, not bothered if I have to read the next page and think. So that was quite exciting actually to find this in this way. Though I called Pew and I said that why didn't you devise something where we could hold the pages together and it won't be separate and all. But again, thinking again, why so? She kind of spread it all over a table, and it was an experience for her to get it back and put it back. I think when I did the unboxing, I had a similar kind of an experience. That it opened up into like a whole thing. And I was also worried that I have kind of misplaced the numbers, and then I didn't find the numbers, and I kind of put it back to put it back together. But I think that's the good part of it. And maybe maybe, just maybe, I can also gift these pages to different people, like gifts of stories. And
Fantastic. Yes. I will sell it as a second book. You
Yeah,
will
she's all into selling it, huh? This lady of mine is, huh? This lady
all
of
about
mine.
marketability, including today's event.
yes, yes. Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yes.
Antara will have all the amazing ideas from me today. You do
I
connect,
actually
huh?
talking
Yes.
to I forgot what you asked me.
The product itself, if you consider it as a product, and you did say why it is unique, but a little
Yeah,
bit about.
as an art consultant, I am into marketing.
Yes.
So anything is a product in the good way, good sense of it. So as they say that marketing is a sale of perspective. So what you sell is not a product but an idea, a perspective. So the book is definitely a perspective, and a book so well made could definitely be a fantastic product for sale and publicity for you and both for Blue Pencil. Why not? I think it is a fantastic idea to have an experiential book in this way. So that's all.
Yeah. So
One thing, just I
Yeah.
will ask others. Others means Indranil and Mitudi. Is the one experience which I had is, and that I take it as positive, is that when you open the box, it just scatters all over the place. So you have to again bring it back. But the advantage is you get to see the different faces of it at the same
Ah,
time, which you normally don't get. You will only just flip through the pages and to come to see the whatever the chapters. You cannot see 5 chapters at a time.
yes,
So I don't know
yes.
again whether that was one of the intentions or not. But when I opened it, it just fell from my hand and it was scattered all over the place. And then I have to again collect them back and put it in the box.
yeah, that's absolutely right. It was intentional, definitely. But also this feedback that all of you gave about writing it on it could have been very interactive. That Antora, and we will definitely consider and take it and think about it. See, all these new ideas come in when you talk about it. Uh, uh, the fact is that we didn't, both Antara and I, we didn't want to put page marks simply because of the fact that if we see physically, the letters were written, sent by different people, and we treasured it within a box. And we were also a bit adventurous, which we could not do all, but we did try. There were also time when I and Antara thought that can we do it in such a way, can we print it where some of those words and all those will be legible, faded, and we won't be able to figure it out what it's written. Because if we are actually thinking of creating an experience of reading, the letters were not always, you couldn't decipher everything that's written on it. So some part of it is faded, some part of it you have to figure it out, and that create an uniqueness to it. It becomes very individual. That's one thing which we
I'm just
have.
wondering if it was, can you see, 2 pages
Mhm.
came like this.
Huh.
Oh, there. Is it a part of this book?
No. It shouldn't be
Oh my
that.
God, I love these 2 pages so much. I put it out of this box.
Then, yeah, I thought it was intentional. Yes, it was
I
intentional.
really thought it has a lot of, like the faded, I thought it is like intentional. It's two pages together.
Mitudi, that must have been an accident and which it reached the right person. See,
Yes,
that's
it
the
did.
destiny.
I treasure
It
it.
reached
Like,
the right person, and it hasn't happened with anybody. This is the only box, and it went to you only, Mitudi. How I like you.
now I'm not going to sell this book, huh? This is my unique, unique. Thank you. Oh, I really thought it was important, so I kept it aside because I wanted to bring it, and because we talk about the slipperiness of these things. Because I was talking to another friend, Amrita, and we were discussing about your book, and we thought of that. What was the reason of printing it on this glossy surface?
Glossy.
Because first of all, the postcard comes, like in a very matte surface, which Amitava also mentioned, and of course, like it is, for the sake of critiquing, like there should be some points. I say that it is, it's like so, but that beautiful feeling of like this, you know, that reminds you like it exactly happened. The tactile feeling, which is intimate, which actually you want to hold, and the interactive part is this one. Then writing on, the back on the and this empty parts that also I think I mentioned somewhere, like not mentioned. I was noting that I did not think that they were empty. They were. I also took this empty. It's whether it's spontaneous, conscious, or organic or intentional. I don't want to even think, but it gives me so much when I see this. It gives me an entire period of emptiness, the void you captured and you structure it here. And then on the other side, I find a key. Sometimes I found this, which is almost obsolete. In today's time, how many of us using this key? No, that's 10 paisa. Even our childhood got this 10 paisa. It's no more. There are things which are like as a product, as in general, like, that are fading away. There are also like today, forget about the coins, small coins. I remember when I went to Europe first to study, I used to collect the small coins. Next time, and the different parts in Europe, how in Spain I had something, in Switzerland, or in and then like next time when I travel after 2-3 years, everywhere it's the same, like euros, or it's exactly the same as the taste of McBurger, and the whole kind of with the name of them, like kind of thing. We're actually killing the touch, that very intimate touch, and therefore not to have your book as an e-book format and holding it like this, even coming whether by accident or something, a torn page is so very special. And your like like this whole yellowish, monochromatic chrome thing, and suddenly one, what is this? But moreover, all this kind of illustration, these are like real academic illustration, you can say. For me, what was illustration is like when I started reading the khichuri, the hegemony of mixing different languages. It says the politics of the hierarchy and also the hegemony, and like you start reading in Bengali, and then you suddenly get lost because you yourself somewhere, I don't remember, in one of the story you said like when you translate, the sweetness of the real language just goes away. How we capture it comes to us when you translate as an exotica. Like I was thinking like some readers, non-Bengali readers, who are reading these books. For them, the Bengali part is like more like a visual text. So illustration is also for them that part. Like a very. It can be like we have like thousands of different scripts. In our the human civilization have like so many are lost, so many. But when you mix them, so not only as a visual, but it become an illustration itself, that you are mixing two languages, not phonetically, but real Bengali, that adding. And it also brings a lot of cultural memories, like when, and time also, like when you say like Amito Emni Emni Khai, the Horlicks, the pop culture of our time, how much we were like in Borolin, it's still like, and there are different things like very detailed small things, and I was bit in a dilemma to frame it in terms of that theory of relativity or Einstein E is equal to mc square time and space concept. But time is something, and especially when you have penned down this whole book, documented all your memories for last 20 years or so, it has got a body for sure, but it's also with it also got his life in a flattened time when the whole world is, like in a limbo, like us, everything is stopped. How, like you just, did you really go back? I mean, I have also certain question to you, like, and did you go back and collect it? I don't think. I think it was all there and you now just sharing. So that is how it is never a past or memory. It's always within you and you are still carrying and it will be, carried, forward, nothing actually left behind. It's the whole concept of leaving something behind is like not. How can it be if it is still there? Like Shantiniketa and Kalabhavan, can we ever say for a single moment that we left behind? I see my ghost there constantly, and people laugh saying it's a fantasy. But yes, it is. It is my belief. Alice, like Alice in her Wonderland, she believed that she was in that Wonderland, not as an Wonderland, but her own land. It was other people's perspective that projected that she was in she was in a Wonderland. So I am not going there, and I don't even So, well, I was.
In fact, if I can just interrupt, Mithu, this was one of the points that Piu and I really talked about. Why should we leave the Bengali part like that untranslated? That was one of my questions. Why no page numbers? What if you just, get them all mixed up? But then she said that that's the very idea. That
Yeah.
and that Bengali part that you mentioned, we had a long argument on it. View that why shouldn't we? I mean, there will be a huge section of the readership that won't understand what it means, what it says.
This is
But
what
yeah,
like this is how we even read, because reading is seeing and seeing is reading. We cannot separate our sensory appeals. Even reading is smelling, reading is tasting. I taste. I literally, I mean, nobody can stop me from tasting like new book or an old book. So like okay, if you can.
You did that with those 2 pages?
Huh?
Did you do that with those 2 pages?
No, I honestly no, I did not do this. It really came.
Okay,
And
that was like right away jumping onto it, huh?
I know it might sound, but like in my life, I believe and I don't fabricate things. This is one like real thing I believe, that I should not fabricate something which itself brings so much of joy and meaning. So why should I fabricate?
No,
There
no, I
are
meant
Mitude, you are right. Actually, Mitude, it is true that we really wanted to make it a visual journey, so that the Bengali font can be seen, and some cannot actually figure it out what's written in there, but that should not stop them from having a ride onto this.
yeah.
But I would want to ask one thing to Antora, because it was the whole process of why we see this book in our hand is because of blue pencil and all. So this question goes to Antora and Amitava both together. You are in for first to Antora, that is there any memory in this particular memory triggered any of the stories, because you are in Delhi. Yes, you are connected with Kolkata, but at the same time you are far away from the city. Was there any story that triggered some memory and you could connect? Because we don't have much time. I know we will be wrapping it up at 7:30. So I just wanted you to share your thoughts.
Yeah, actually, a couple of things before that, before I come to your question. Firstly, I apologize for the background noise. I did not realize it probably came from me. So I'm sorry about it. Secondly, my power cut suddenly, all of a sudden, I just vanished and I'm back. And thirdly, to answer, I'm sorry about that also. And thirdly, to answer Amitava's comment on the paper. This is a 220 GSM art paper, and I had specifically said there should be no lamination. So it actually doesn't have a lamination, neither glossy nor matte. But because if it is the art paper, you are probably not able to write. So next time, if we go in for a reprint, whenever we do, I'll probably ask for a matte finish if that is going to help. But as Mithu said that she loved the tactile feeling, So I will leave it to Piu to take a call on that, how she wants it. It's her work after all. And to come back to that question, Piu, yes, actually, there were a lot of stories whenever they came up on Saturday. They brought back slices of childhood for me in nuggets. And I do have wicker baskets where I have postcards and letters and birthday cards, hand drawn birthday cards from my cousins and friends and all. We have saved them. Those are memories. The moment you look at them, you just go back into that time, into that day, into that moment. And these postcards, these stories, I connected with each and every one of them as if they were characters walking out of those postcards, and I could touch them, I could see them, I could hear them, and I could be with them. So that is the magic of your stories. They're so human, they resonate with life, and you can relate to them at any point of time, any postcard you pick up, and it like talks to you. So that is what was the beauty of it. So when you came up with this idea of the book, and we at Blue Pencil, we thought that it's just something that we wanted to do, and the idea is so novel. The whole concept. Again, as Amitava said, that when everything is there on the internet, not everything, but most of it, quite a lot part of it, then why the book? The book is because the feeling of holding the book, the way it has been done. So I think you were marvelous with the concept, and I'm really thankful that we could talk about the book the way we have been doing in this ADDA. And there are a few comments also that have come in. So if you can just quickly go at least over a couple of them, that would be Piu. Because there is Soumitra Chatterjee Paul who says that she would love to hear more of Indranil's opinion about the saleability of art as seen in this box. So I think that question is for Indranil.
Sellability of art. The whole book is an art piece. So we must sell it. And I also wanted to definitely tell you that you should increase the price of the book. I was quite surprised seeing the price. It should definitely go up. And of course, it will sell.
No, I think it was more of a question like how in today's market the art and the sellability of it goes, like how do as a buyer we perceive it and the market for it.
So, in fact, Sayan has a comment. He says maybe use the paper of Indian postcards next time. So, I think, and I think.
Yes, please.
That part only Ankara can answer. No, which question? Why not a
I have a
postcard
question
paper?
for you, but I don't know where to. This I don't know how to type. I'm just asking you directly. So you have written all these letters. So what address did you post them? What is the address, and how did you find the address?
That address is definitely learning and creativity. Every Saturday, poor Antora had a post and she has to edit it and she has to put it up. So it was always there on every Saturday. It went up over there.
No, but it's a few. Let me add a sub question to this one, which I think I had for a long time. That see, this postcard thing was a very cheap. When the postcard first came, I think 100 years or more than 100 years back, it was a very cheap alternate to communication, right? That's how it came. So it was quarter of an anna, with which it started off. So there was no privacy, like everyone can see, everyone can read, and there was no privacy. We are talking so much about privacy and security these days. It seems very funny because we used to live with postcards where everyone could see what it is written. So anyway, so why you wrote letters to yourself, I understand, but why you chose postcard as the format? Why not say, for example, inland letter?
I
That is
knew
also
that
letter. That
something
is
is
also
coming and I will be in a position of wondering what. to answer, this is coming. So I can definitely pass it on to Indro, but
What?
like,
They're all interested.
we used to do that in Kola Bhavan when we were in the college. If you don't have an answer, you just pass it on to someone. We used to roll the balls like that. But maybe I will attempt. A very good observation, Amitava. There are two things, two ways to approach it. One is like when you see the inland, it's folded, right? And putting it in a box might not look visually that appealing. That's one thing. Secondly, the whole fun of it is that I'm saying that letter to myself, lovely, but it's been printed and published. So it is very much for everyone. And there was this table right next to our common room, and all the postcards used to be on top of it. Whether it's your boyfriend who has written it or whoever it is, they were all up there. They were read by every one of us in the hostel. If I didn't have a letter for 2-3 days, I would pick Mithu these and I will read it and I will tell Mithu, this is such a bad handwriting. It came from your home. Look at that. So, there was a wonderful memory attached with postcard itself. Beautiful memory. So it's a very relevant question. Why not inland but postcard? One is visual thing that I wanted to consider. And the second thing is that it is for
I
all
think
to read, as you
there
said.
is a concept of this picture postcard as well, which may be at
Yes,
the back of your, because there were
absolutely
picture
right.
postcards as well.
This is basically a picture postcard concept.
This is
Absolutely right. See, this is basically a picture. But you know what? I kind of Antora, I will just say it. I'll quickly wrap it because I know it's time. The fact is that because I had the concept of picture postcard, na, Mithu. So if I can write it and send it to you or to someone, that adds also to it.
yes.
So I had that thing in my mind that, this is something. See, it's a box. At the end of it, you buy a box. But why not take out, as you mentioned, that why
No,
not
what
take out
Indranil
your...
just mentioned that
Huh.
if say for
Can
example I
be-
can write on that, I can send it to someone else as well
Someone
as
else. I can send it as a
with
gift
the
to someone
postage.
else.
I can
Yes.
just
Yes.
send it.
Yes, it can be a gift to many with your
Yes.
personal touch on it. Even
No,
the
it should
stories,
be
as you
really, it should really be like that, because when I even last night when we were talking about it, I was telling you that I really used to get jealous about the postman who used to bring all these things and postcard. I had a very strong belief that they read all these letters, even like to Sri Charaneshu, Thakuma Dadu or Bohu. Like all your own wife, you will.
I read all your letters, by the way.
No,
I don't know about the postman.
now I didn't know. I don't know how many postcard love letter I received in Shantiniketan, but at least a few, I hope. And but I am sad for one person today. All those postmen's sons who are still maybe in postal service, they are missing a big part of touching all these postcards, obsolete things, and sitting in front of a computer and arranging, typing, and keeping those datas, but missing that thing. And Piu and Blue Pencil brought that thing back. Maybe that postman's son, who is another postmaster, somebody in the postal service, not having the fun of reading others' letter, open letters, but Piu, as she said letter to myself, and I see how she exposed herself, and sharing and exposing is like also sharing, which really takes away. And as an artist, as a writer, and as a creative person, I think that's the biggest blessings, and we are privileged who can do these things. So that melancholy and all those missing things, which I did not understand what was that behind her sparkling eyes and dancing in the shopping mall, is all those alphabets, and each alphabet talks as powerfully as any of these characters, the Trilochunda. I mean, I'm still like, I can't believe that the mole of the Trilochunda, how can he get lost and nobody can find him? So what is the notion of our, identity or address? That's why I asked you that what address did you finally find to address all of these issues?
I mean, just taking a key from what Mithu said. I mean, actually, Blue Pencil and Pew can think of kind of maybe launching or making an event at one of the GPOs, either in Kolkata or thing and involve the postman in some way with them. I don't know how, but I can't think of it right now. But get that the postcard book into the post office.
Actually,
Kind of thing.
that's a very unique idea. Actually,
Very unique idea.
very
Yes.
unique idea. That's very unique,
Because
which
I
came up
think they
right
would
now.
would want to do it. I
Indra,
don't
you
know.
just gave an answer to that marketing part. Lovely. That's how you have to know how to market your thing, and that's a skill, and we should learn doing it.
Do you see
How?
it as marketing? I see it as an artist. Very
Yes,
Yes,
like
yes, of course,
creative
it's the same.
artist
But
perspective.
but to Antora, I mean, openly, I will say that it's not my journey. It's been a huge, long journey from your side. To actually come up with something unconventional is very difficult. Can we take few more questions, because I know everybody is time bound and all. So if there is any question you think we can take to others, if there is any question for Indro, Mithudi, or Amitavo, we can take it and then move on. I think yours mic is.
Sorry. I actually wanted to share some of the comments that have come in. That Monica Carr is saying, "Wow, batchmates and roommates, this is a true adda." Manek Premchand sir is saying that I'm loving the cerebral atmosphere here. So actually, we have created an adda here on the live, and I'm really grateful to all of you for doing that. And the questions, there have been quite a lot of comments. Getting the postcard book into the post office, great idea, Indranil, says Ramendra Kumar. And Soumitra Chatterjee Paul says the price should be increased. It's an art treasure. Okay, now that gets me very excited indeed. So actually, it's been this entire journey of designing the book the way it has been done. It has been a constant discussion between Piu and our design team, and so it just went on. It was so much fun. Other than the product part and the selling and everything, that entire journey was pure fun. It was very creative. Lots of discussions on Skype and WhatsApp and this and that, and so I'll cherish those memories a lot. So in fact, we are now out of time. And
but
what was the most exciting? What was the most exciting part of this journey, Piu? Says Ramendra Kumar. I think that's a wonderful question. So this is something that came up. Piu, the most exciting part of the journey.
Let me just thank Deepesh also, because if I don't forget, I will say, can I read out the most fascinating part of my journey if I can? I'll just end it with that. This is a handwritten letter which came to me. This is I took a photograph of it. It is it was sent by one of my friend's mother-in-law, and I haven't met her. I haven't met her yet. I don't know whether I will meet her or not. But this is what she wrote to me, and this is the best part of the journey. She wrote, "What a timely." I won't read the whole of it. I will just write a bit of it. What a timely book to come during lockdown days, overtaking the qualms of the modern way and modern day. And in this time of the light, unfolding this page after page, I had a feeling that I was turning the ancient Vedas. So from there, I jump on to the part which I loved most. She wrote one line over here. She said that, "Piu, your books kind of inspired me to write a book." So this particular line I cherish. This is the most important part of my whole journey. I haven't met Auntie yet, and her name is Lata, and she's a founder of a CBSE board school. She runs the school, and she sends this long handwritten message to me, this text to me, and she says that somewhere this box has inspired her to write as well. So apart from all the good things she has written about my book, I'm just purposefully skipping that. It's like saying my things are great, but the fact that you can reach out to someone whom you haven't seen, and she can also think of coming up and writing a book herself, is the best journey of this whole process.
Not only
of this
journey,
whole-
Piu, this is the best compliment an author can ever get. If someone
Yes.
says that I am inspired to
Yes.
write a book reading your book, nothing comes even close to that.
So yes, Amitava. So I think if one thing I want to say in a line, that what one get from when we do an exhibition or a book, it is the connection with the people. So I connected with you all, my batchmates, my roommates, all got connected. Whether this connection will go on or not, but book
Or
is
should I
actually a
reveal that
pull-up.
one thing you promised me last
No,
night?
can no, not at all, huh?
Yes, she said she made me agree to be here because she also booked me for her next book launching.
I have a lot of things to share, but before I end it, I will tell one thing, Mithudi. I strongly deny the line that you said. Look at her face now. I strongly deny the fact that when you said that I had to tolerate you. It was a wonderful 1 year journey, and that we can have a separate adda, so I'm not going to that. But you are an amazing poet, Mithudi. So if I write, there are a lot of memories where you have been writing poetry on the other side of the bed and you made me cry on this side. So it isn't easy to make someone cry, and someone who is bubbly, and as you said, I have all the naughty things and all. It's amazing. You're a great poet yourself. Do keep it up.
So, in fact, there is a comment from Soumitra Chatterjee Paul. She says, I wanted to write a letter to my younger sister on her first anniversary. I couldn't think of where to begin, so I sent Piu's letters to myself. She's thrilled. So, again,
Shushmita,
so
that's
Piu,
so nice of you. That's so amazing. Even there is a Bharatji who kept on encouraging me all throughout with his comment. And Shushmita, that's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear that.
one more question from Sayan is there. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you just went mute.
Okay,
You
okay.
just
Yeah.
went mute.
Sorry. There's one more question from Sayan. He says, would be interesting to know the basis of selection from the weekly articles to be included in the book. How did you select which ones to go and which ones not to go? So that was a.
Ab aayega maza.
I thought the time is up. Shan,
You
I
said
would
you made lottery,
very
all of them, and then you picked up numbers. I thought
that would have been exactly what a Kolabhavan student does, right? It would have been, but as you said, we change our avatars and we grow up, and so I will be
My younger sister on her first anniversary. I couldn't think of where to begin.
This is amazing part about Zoom meeting and online meeting. Someone keeps on repeating it and echoes. I love it. All these sudden,
anniversary is about
yeah.
anniversary.
So how I chose it, it's like true. It was difficult, but it's also true, Shan. I didn't wrote a lot. It was like 36 or something, from which I chose 21. And 21 is a very odd number, I know. But I chose the first letter to be sent to my dad. The first, I mean, it's not that, once you've read it, you have to put it in that way, but once it's in the box, that's the first letter which goes to my dad. So I was in USA and I was as if I'm seeing him through the satellite Zoom vision of mine. That was the first letter. And the last one ends with to my son and to anyone of that age group, where I ask them to hold on because this thing is going to be over and we're going to eat from one plate altogether. So that time is also going to come. So that's how the whole first and finishing it. And in between, I just picked up. Honestly, whatever I thought that it touched my heart, I picked it up. And uh, that's the honest answer.
Beautiful view. I think that is a very difficult thing to do because you love all your stories. I do, at least, and I think that I could have done them better always. That feeling is there, but to pick and choose which ones to go and which ones to leave aside, that's a difficult thing. And I think we like a typical adda, we have overshot the time, and that makes it a real adda, isn't it? Because if you don't overshoot the time, it's not an adda, right? So thank you everyone thank you so much for being here. From Blue Pencil, we are really honored to have you here because this has been absolutely a level up for us in terms of the book, the journey, the product, this ADDA, the Facebook Live and all. And Piu, I think that with you, we have really had a journey which is fit for one postcard at least. One story on this. So thank you, and we really wish you all the very best with your endeavors. And
For you and Blue Pencil, congratulations.
Mithudi, we
Thank you.
love you, honestly.
It was a
For being so
fantastic
spontaneous. For being
yes,
so spontaneous.
fantastic discussion, and everybody has been, and I personally am having a lot of takeaways from this.
Yes,
So
especially the part where you can actually make it interactive, as Amitava said,
yes,
and Indro said that it can be in the post office, and all those are such loving things that come up. But
yes,
thank you very much for being here.
thank you.
Nothing from me. That address,
Yana, you are done.
find me an address.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thanks.
Good night.
Indro, thanks.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Good night. Bye bye.